This is the Cubs Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Chicago Cubs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Locked On Cubs Postcast here on the Locked On Cubs YouTube channel. My name is Joe George. You find me on all social media platforms at Joe George Radio. This episode is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Enter for a chance to win a dream golf trip for two to any golf tournament in the USA. Visit 5hewin.com for full rules and entry. No purchase necessary. Excludes the Masters tournament and ends October 31st, 2025. All right, so the Cubs do what they're supposed to do in this game. They win 11-5. The offense explodes. 5 runs in the first inning. They look pretty good overall in this game. Javier Assad was solid in the game, so we'll get to all of that. We'll talk about the plan for Kyle Tucker. I think it's a very good one, honestly, at this point in the season. No reason to rush him back, but we will start today's show off with our Locked On Player of the Game.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
All right, so there's quite a few options for the Locked On Player of the Game today, but I'm going to go with Nico Hoerner in this one. Pretty simple, honestly. 2 big plays in this one. He's really the one that really gets the Cubs momentum going there in the bottom of the first inning. That ball he hit was very far away from James Wood, the Nationals left fielder. It drops down. The Cubs are aggressive by sending Seiya Suzuki as the ball is like weirdly bouncing between his legs. Honestly, if that ball bounces a little bit farther away, Nico probably could have gone even farther than that. But he brings in the Cubs' second run of the game there to make it 2-0 in the bottom of the first. And then he comes up again in the bottom of the fourth. He walks to load the bases before Willie Castro comes up with the 2-run automatic double that made it 8-2. And then in the bottom of the 6th inning, Nico Hoerner hits his 6th home run of the season, making it 10-5 Cubs. His first home run of the 2025 season at Wrigley Field, which is crazy, honestly, that it's taken him to hit a home run in that long. Cubs fan here says Washington's a really bad team. Got to beat them like a drum. Absolutely. That's what you're supposed to do in these games. You're supposed to go out there and crush them. The offense, they did that. And again, they started it in the first inning. Dansby Swanson has been pretty good recently, honestly. Like him and Ian Happ have really kind of turned that corner. Ian Happ more than Dansby, I would say, but Ian Happ hits a home run in this game as well. He scores 4 runs. They said first time he's ever done that in his career, which surprised me a little bit. So Ian Happ had a good day at the plate, but PCA had a really great day at the plate as well. 2 singles, 2 sac flies. So now Craig Counsell has had 2 guys that have been struggling mightily in Kyle Tucker and Pete Crow-Armstrong. And the game plan finally for Tucker was to sit him down, let him rest for a couple days, figure out what's going on with the swing, let the body get healthy, and go out there and be much better. He's done that. PCA hasn't played in a couple days. To come out in this game and be that productive is a very positive sign. There's guys like Seiya Suzuki, who I think obviously had a good game today. Like wasn't an incredible day, but he was very good. I mean, the whole Cubs lineup was good, frankly, in this one. But Suzuki's getting there. So maybe he doesn't need the time off that PCA and Tucker needed. But it seems, look, 1 game, 1 result. It doesn't mean PCA's back, just like when Kyle Tucker started to turn around. It wasn't just 1 game. Kyle Tucker's ready to go for the rest of the season. But it's a positive development for PCA to come out there and perform in the way that he did today. Again, it's the Nationals, but 2 singles, 2 sac flies, being productive in virtually every single at-bat that you have in this game. That's all good for him. Dansby Swanson, again, that 3-run home run. The Cubs really just put it on him. Reese McGuire got on the party as well, and Willie Castro, too. Like this really was a lineup today in which pretty much everyone contributed to the Cubs' victory. I got a little close there at one point. It was, 8-5 before? Yeah, 8-5 there in the 6th inning before the Cubs were able to tack on 3 more runs. So they kind of checked the boxes. Runners on, moving them home, using power, just all of the things you'd want to see from this lineup. You got RBIs and an RBI or a walk from basically every single player in this lineup besides Michael Busch. Michael Busch really the only guy who didn't contribute to the Cubs' victory today. 0 for 5. But Ian Happ goes 1 for 4 with a home run, 3 walks. Again, scores 4 runs. Seiya Suzuki has a hit with a walk. Pete Crow-Armstrong, we just went over. Same with Nico, 2 singles in this one. Willie Castro gets a hit that brings in 2 RBIs. Dansby, Matt Shaw, 0 for 3, but he did get a walk, and then Reese McGuire home run. So everyone was good in this game for the lineup. And that's what you're getting. That's what you're supposed to do. Like, this is one of those series, again, I've said it multiple times now. I'm not going to ask for a sweep, but, like, this is a series in which you should sweep. You've gained now a half game on the Brewers. They play in about an hour and a half from now as we're live here. So, the Pirates didn't realize this. 12 games above 500 at home, just swept the Dodgers. So maybe the Pirates can help the Cubs out a little bit this weekend of trying to catch Milwaukee. But for all the Cubs can really do right now is just play good baseball, beat the teams that are in front of you, all these teams that are below 500, and check those boxes. And they did it in this one. Real quick on Kyle Tucker here before we go to break, and then we'll talk about Javier Assad, what we saw from him and the bullpen in this game. And then we'll get to more of your questions and comments here as well. But Kyle Tucker, so they said he's still feeling it a little bit, still feeling the tightness in the calf. Craig Counsell said he thinks he'll play sometime this weekend against the Nationals, probably as the DH. Honestly, I know that everyone wants to see the Cubs chase down the Brewers, and I think to really accomplish that, you would need Kyle Tucker to be in the lineup. But what's more important for the Cubs right now is that Kyle Tucker is healthy, available, and ready to go for the postseason. So even if it can't be this weekend, I'm okay with that. Let him get fully healthy. We saw what happened earlier this season, obviously, where he played good at first with the injury. Kyle Tucker said his calf was bothering him before he left that game the other day a little bit. So take your time. There's no reason to rush him back. I would like to see Alcantara out there more, but I get why Castro's in right field. So overall, I think that this is the right decision, honestly, for the Cubs, and have zero pushback against it whatsoever. All right, we'll take our break here. When we get back, we'll talk about Javier Assad, what we saw from his outing as well, and we'll talk more of your comments and questions in the chat here on YouTube. That's all coming up next here on the Locked On Cubs postcast. Today's episode is brought to you by Zippix. Got to pull up my copy here. There we go. This episode is brought to you by Zippix Toothpicks. Whether you're looking for nicotine satisfaction or an energy boost, Zippix has you covered with their nicotine and caffeine-infused toothpicks. For nicotine users, Zippix provides a discreet way to satisfy cravings and the hand-to-mouth habit without vaping or smoking. Zippix can be a helpful tool as you work to reduce your dependence on vaping. It's available in 6 great flavors with 2 mg and 3 mg nicotine options. If you need energy without the crash, their caffeine toothpicks are a game changer. Go to zippixtoothpicks.com using code LOCKEDON for 10% off your first order. Must be 21 or older to order. Warning, nicotine is an addictive chemical. That's zippixtoothpicks.com. Promo code LOCKEDON. Zip more, smoke less with Zippix Toothpicks. Today's episode's also brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Time to fuel it up and turn it up with 5 Hour Energy Transfusion. This grape, ginger, and lime flavored shot brings the iconic taste of a golf course favorite to a non-alcoholic boost. Perfect for sinking birdies or making great memories with friends. It's a hole-in-one for your energy game. Whether you're out on the course or you just need a little extra push through your day, 5 Hour Energy Transfusion delivers the clubhouse flavor you love without ever leaving the green. Golf is all about good times with good people and good flavors. The grape ginger lime flavor of 5 Hour Energy Transfusion gives you the best parts of your clubhouse go-to without leaving the course or chasing down the bev cart. Now you can amp up the fun even more. Just buy, snap, and enter for a chance to win a dream golf trip for 2 to any golf tournament in the USA. Tee up that trip. Visit 5hewin.com for full rules and entry. No purchase necessary. It does exclude the Masters tournament, and entry ends October 31st, 2025. All right, let's talk about what we saw from Javier Assad in this game. So he was fine. I mean, he wasn't great or anything like that, but he was solid, I would say. 5 1/3, gives up 3 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. Now, the first one that gives up, the play before, Pete was struggling out there today. And we've seen that not really be an issue for him. I mean, really for the Cubs outfielders, they don't make the mistakes that we see other teams make at Wrigley Field because they play there so often. But there's the play where he's running towards Ian Happ, where they're you can tell they're communicating back and forth pretty frequently about after it happened about who needs to get the ball if depending on where the fly ball is coming from. So they're kind of going back and forth on that. Dontre Willis was talking about it there on the broadcast. But then the one where he has it, it's behind him. He lost it in the sun, the wind, all of it. So that's not on Javier Assad. But then he gives up a home run on the next play or to the next batter, and the Nationals get their first runs of the game. And then he gets charged with a couple earned runs after Thielbar comes in after making it first and second with, I believe, 1 out in the inning. So he was fine. Like I think for Javier Assad, it's more of a question of and a thought of what happens next year than it is for this year. Like, I don't think this is someone that really factors in to the playoff roster construction at this point. Like, he could be a bullpen arm for you in the playoffs, but like, I don't expect to see more from him or starts from him in the postseason. Like, it feels the postseason rotation, there are a lot of teams with questions about who gets the ball in game 3, who gets the ball in game 4. I think for the Cubs, it's pretty set in stone at this point. Like, it's going to be Boyd, it's going to be Imanaga, it's going to be Horton, it's going to be Colin Ray. Those are your 4 guys in the playoffs that you are banking on, assuming you get out of the 3-game wildcard round. So if Assad's going to make an impact on this team, it's going to be coming out of the bullpen. So I think he was fine. Like, if he could be in the playoffs, a guy that comes in, to give you 2 or 3 innings, if you have a sizable lead or if a game you're going to lose and you just need someone to eat innings, like, that could be fine. So this was a okay start. I think he is showing things that he can build off of for going forward, for into next season. But I want more from him. Like, I don't want to be selfish in this way, but I think even he would say, like, there's the swing and miss stuff isn't necessarily there where you would like to see a starting pitcher in the major leagues be, in my opinion. So he's been fine, and this is another example of that today against the Nationals. Thielbar, look, my only thing with him is, like, that's going to be where you're called upon in the playoffs, right? Like, that's where Thielbar should be, where you need him to be at his best, and he wasn't today. Where he's coming in for either a starter or another bullpen pitcher with guys on base, got to get 1 or 2 outs to get out of the inning. Not able to do that. That to me is really the only negative outside of Michael Busch, who, frankly, like, if anyone needs more days off than with the Cubs right now, it's probably Michael Busch. Like, that's probably the guy I would focus in on of, like, should you give him 3 or 4 days off? I would have liked to see, frankly, like what Craig Counsell started in the last series. I would like that to continue. I would like Nico Hoerner to just be your leadoff man at this point the rest of the season. I don't think it needs to just be against lefties. I think he can be out there, for lefties and righties. But that's just not the way that Craig Counsell is approaching that right now. I disagree, obviously, but we'll see what they do throughout the season. Only 23 or 24 days left to go, basically, at this point. So I don't know if we'll see a dramatic change, but I would have liked to see Nico back out there at the leadoff spot today, just because I think it makes your lineup better than on a day like today where it looked incredible. Chad asks, what happens in the playoffs when Cade has a no-hitter through 6 and is at 85 pitches? He goes back out there for the 7th in the playoffs. Pitchforks if he doesn't. But no, when it comes to playoff time, I think we will see Cade Horton go longer. Talked about that after his last start. I think it's time now to let the kids' gloves come off. But if they're not going to make that decision now, even Cade Horton said, after his last start when he met with the media, it's about being healthy in October at this point for him. And yes, for sure. But they gotta let him cook in the playoffs the way he's been going. Because honestly, he's been your best pitcher. There's a real argument that he deserves to go higher than 3rd in the wild card series, that he deserves to get the ball before that against the Padres or whoever. And that feels like who you're going to play in the playoffs. Like, I want Cade out there because that kid has been absolutely nails for the Chicago Cubs. So good win today. They win 11-5. You get runs from pretty much everybody. And before we wrap up, let's get to what you'll be talking about after this win.
This is what you'll be talking about.
Just to revisit something we talked about a little bit earlier, I think the biggest takeaway from this game from a long-term perspective, again, is what we saw from Pete Crow-Armstrong. I do think that, just a full circle on this, I do think the approach that they talked about is what they should stick with. That in certain lefty matchups, we should see PCA sitting, and we should see Alcantara in center field. I think that still is the right decision going forward right now because he's not good against lefties. He hasn't been all season long, or really for, I would say, 80% of the season this year. So now, do you want to see if he can turn that around before the postseason? Because are you going to put a rookie out there in center field in, game 1 or game 2 of a wild card series? You probably don't want to, but it's probably the best decision in terms of your bat. But you also don't want to take the defense away from your center field spot. So the biggest things to watch right now for the Cubs are PCA. Is this the start of something with his days off? And Kyle Tucker, just how long will he be out for? Will he actually return to the Cubs this weekend? That to me is really just the only thing that ultimately matters about this Cubs team, and get another series win. I want more, but at a bare minimum, you got to get the series win against the Nationals. All right, that'll wrap it up for us. We'll be back with you guys tomorrow afternoon and Sunday as well, here with you after basically every single Cubs game. Thank you guys for watching. Remember, hit that subscribe button here on YouTube, plus wherever you find your podcast. Shout out to everyone listening on the audio version of this show on Apple and Spotify. We will talk to you guys tomorrow afternoon. Enjoy your Friday night. Go Cubs.